Hi parents, hi students, hi everyone who is watching this video. So this is, I've been getting a lot of questions about expectations as far as online learning goes and what students are expected to do at home versus what they're expected to do in school. So I just really wanted to go and clearly outline everything that we expect as a teaching staff from our students, and then possible ways to reach out for help if you need it, possible solutions for technology issues and all that good stuff. So this is an example of what your students might see in Canvas for my page as far as science goes. So 8th grade and 9th grade is set up just about the same as far as what it looks like and how I put the information in. So even though we're on 8th grade, this is going to be the same for 9th grade as well as far as organization of our course. So students have been instructed that each day when they get on, they are to go to our module tab, which is right here on the left-hand side. The way our class is set up is that each week, and this is different from class to class, but in science, each week is a new module. So some teachers have changed it so that each module is a topic. So maybe one module is astronomy, one would be lithosphere. That's not how it's working in our class. I think it's going to be best organization-wise for us to be doing it by week. So each module here you see is a week of school. So we're on our 3rd week of school. It is Monday afternoon right now. So that's what you see coming up. So that's how our modules go. Inside each module, I have everything separated into days as far as assignments go. So if you're looking at week 1, everything that we did on Monday is labeled day 1. And that's all the information that students will need as far as taking notes, as far as learning things. It's right there in day 1. So in day 1, we did 5 things. It was a quicker day. It didn't take as long. We learned our rules. We did our syllabus. One of the most important things is that almost every single day starts with a video. And also the way these are organized is kind of a checklist type deal. So students and parents, you can think of this as a checklist. So if you've done day 1 and you've watched the video, you click it. Click the gray box. This is important. Some of us are missing this and not being able to see the videos. You have to click the gray box for it to come up. You have to make sure that your pop-up browser is not, see, it says Firefox is preventing the site from opening a pop-up browser. So if I didn't have that up, I would already have popped up, but instead I had to click the gray box. And our video comes up. Videos used to be just instructions. Now they are starting to become notes too. So if your student is looking for a lecture that we did in class that day, they're going to start seeing notes in our video section. So it is so very important that they are watching these videos and following along, because if not, they're going to be missing their notes page. And then when they do get to face-to-face, if they come face-to-face, they're confused and they're frustrated because they can't do that day's work because they didn't do the video lecture the day before. So it's so very important that your students are keeping up and making sure that they're on top of their work, because we can't backtrack when we're in the classroom, because that's not fair to the students who have already done their work. So if we go back to week 1, we started with the video. Next we would go to the syllabus, right? Like I said, it's a checklist. So once you've done one thing, you can go to the next thing. So we'll move on, because this was a lot of like classroom procedures and stuff like that. A better example of a module to look at is going to be our week 2. So for week 2, we only did one thing for day 1. We had a catch-up day because we had to, because students weren't completing the work, but every time gets better. So students are getting better and better, but I still need your help being on top of them, making sure they're getting done what they need to be done. So day 1 was just a check-in and about me. So if they click it, you'll see it brings them to an assignment page. I asked them to just answer these 10 questions, kind of as a way to get to know them a little bit more as students. So some things that would help me, like what's something I need to know about you as far as your learning goes, so that you can be most successful. Other things like, are you a morning person or you a night person? And then just some general questions about them, like, are you normally hot? Are you normally cold? Trying to gauge who it is that I am teaching. So that was day 1, and that was the only thing they had to do for day 1. Once we get into day 2, it's a little out of order, I apologize for that. But day 2, our video is right here, and we're starting to take notes. So if you've missed this part, this is very important. We do notebooks. I create them for you guys. As far as notes go, it's a PDF document of the notes that we take in class. It starts with an outline of our unit. It has our vocab next, any vocab words we're learning. We have bell ringers, which is just the kind of a way I start class. They gauge the student's knowledge. And then we go into the notes. So these are notes that they should be filling out. I have on here, if you go to announcements, you can see, once it loads, how to edit a PDF. So I would love if you could print these out if you're a Plan C student or you're at home, but that's not always possible. I understand that. So here is a nice little write-up on how to edit a PDF so that your student could be following along on the computer, no need to print. But I do think it is best if they write it instead of typing. It's linked to higher memory retention. But whatever you have to work with is what we'll do. So the website for editing an online PDF, and then there's also a video on how to use the online PDF editor. So it's a little tangent there. But if we go back, you see that we had day 2 SI unit notes. That'll take us to a YouTube video again of me actually going through the notes. So this is where we started taking notes, going through the notes that the students need to understand and learn. So it's important that they're going through those, right? So we go back, then the last thing that I asked them to do that day was to take a quiz. So they took a quiz, they watched a video, and then they took a quiz on the video. And then I decided, because it was harder to understand the video, that this wasn't going to be for credit. It was just to kind of gauge what students know and understood from the video. So that's what I expected them to do. And that's kind of how each of these go. If we get into this week, we have day 1, a video of what we did and how to get there, and then what they actually needed to turn in. We're starting to get to the point where I need to see that they're doing their work, and I found it's better if I put pictures up of the pages that we're actually doing and I expect them to do. So there's the pictures of the work they were supposed to do that day. And then I asked you to please complete the following pages in your notebook. Take a picture of the page you finished, and if I'm having issues, I need to know, right? Many of you are not sending in pictures each day, so I don't know, and you're also missing the points for the assignment. But what you do is you would finish, you would take a picture, you would put the picture on your computer. So it could be as simple as opening up, and some students have done this, they've gotten very creative. You open up the picture, the webcam of your device, and you hold up your paper right here, right in front of you, and you screenshot it, and then that's what you turn in. Some students have done that. Some students have taken pictures and figured out how to get them onto their computer as far as a file, and then they upload it, whatever it is that's going to work best for you and that you understand. So say this was my picture. I should have talked when I was doing that. So to submit assignment, you go to the black submit an assignment page. So we have to go all the way back now, and that's okay. So we're going to submit the assignment. You're going to browse. You're going to find the picture that you want, and you're going to open it. If you have more than one picture, you're going to add another file and repeat the process. Then the last thing you're going to do is submit this assignment. Some students are becoming experts at doing this. It might be frustrating at first, but once you get it, you will be absolutely fine. And they're completely conquering this. They're doing very well, the ones that who are trying. Okay. And then the last thing I wanted to go over with you is our expectations for online learning. So it is very different, and a lot of students and parents too, and teachers, sort of, not me though, so they're confused about what it's going to look like as far as online learning goes. So you are all going to get a copy of this, and we're going to sign it, and we're going to understand our expectations as far as students and parents and teachers, what's expected of all of us. So we're going through a lot. I'm not going to undermine anything that we are all going through, trying to online learn and have jobs at the same time. I couldn't imagine. But we're going to get through this together, and we're going to do it by sort of really clearly outlining the expectations for students. Especially our students are older. They should be able to, or we should be working through and getting better each day at doing this stuff. So I want you to remember in your most frustrated times that we all have the same goal. I want your students to succeed as much as you do and as much as they want to succeed. Never think that we're working against your students, because we're not. We really do want them to learn and understand this stuff. And it's a headache, I understand. But once you do learn this process and get through everything, it's going to be so much easier. And just know that we are here to help you. So expectations are important for everyone to know. As far as students go, and I've talked to your students who have been face-to-face with me, but some of you aren't, and maybe some of you need to go through them again. because we're still not meeting those expectations, but we'll get there. So we expect students to be logging into Canvas every day. Canvas is our learning management system, what I just showed you, the green thing comes up green mostly. They're supposed to be completing assignments in Canvas every day, and they are supposed to be submitting assignments in Canvas within 48 hours of when they're assigned. So if I assign an assignment today, and my due date is today, they have about 48 hours of cushion before it's going to start counting against them as far as grades go. So what that means is that we're understanding. We understand that things come up. Wi-Fi issues come up. Maybe your student has to go and stay at grandma's for the night, and grandma doesn't have internet. My grandma doesn't have internet. I understand. And they aren't able to do their assignment for that day. That's why we created the cushion, the 48-hour cushion period, so that they can have that grace period to turn in their assignments. But after that 48-hour grace period, we're going to start deducting points. As a team, we've come up with a 10-point deduction system so that if after 48 hours they're not completing their work, we're taking off 10 points. So it is really important that your students are getting work in on time. With everything, we are graceful, and each situation is a little bit different. So if your student is having issues, communication is the best thing that's going to be able to help. If you're having Wi-Fi issues, let us know so that we know that the student is having issues and not just not doing their work, right? So we want to know what's going on. Some consequences for not meeting the expectations is that we're going to start marking students absent for not being in Canvas every day. We're going to start marking students as absent for not completing assignments. And like I said, we're going to start deducting points after 48 hours of the work being assigned. Again, though, if you're having issues, please let us know and we will help you through those. Parents, we ask that you help your student log in to Canvas. It's not as big of a deal with our high schoolers and older age students, but they still might need some help learning how to log into Canvas. To check to see if your students are completing assignments. It's awesome. So if you go, and so this is our Canvas page, if you go into grades for each of your students and each class, you can see whether or not they're actually completing assignments. So each of these, this is my test student, so the test student hasn't done anything because it's not a real student. But if it doesn't have a score right here, then it's not turned in. If it was turned in and I hadn't graded it yet, there would be a little, it almost looks like a page right there, waiting to be scored. That's what it would say if you scrolled your thing over it. Over here, there might be a comment for your student about the assignment. So I put comments in like good job, great job, or asking further questions, or maybe they missed some questions. I would put that in there. So that's also an important thing to check. So you are able to check whether they turned it in, if they haven't turned it in, and the grade that they got. If it's already been graded, it'll have a grade. If they've turned it in and it hasn't been graded, it'll have that little paper thing. And if they haven't turned it in at all, it'll be a dash. So let's go back. Have patience with us. We are trying. I try to respond to questions as soon as I can, but I only have so much planning time. And when I am with my students, I really want to be focused with my students. And then make an appointment if you need help. I am more than willing to Zoom with you to walk you through the things that you don't understand, or maybe even I don't understand them, and we try to fix the problem together. I really am here to help, and so are all the other teachers, like I said. If you need help, please reach out. Wednesdays are great days to Zoom call us. And then as far as teachers' expectations go, we are supposed to be posting assignments to Canvas, which I do daily. They're usually done before I leave the school that previous day. They don't come up till 7 a.m., but they are done before. If there's something, sometimes mistakes happen. So if you see something that doesn't look right, because I usually have daily things up there, you are welcome to email me. Maybe I made a mistake. Maybe I didn't publish it. Always ask. I check Canvas daily for work that's submitted. I am very current with my grades and my feedback. So I am telling the students when they're meeting expectations or when they're not, or if they're missing something. It's pretty consistently. If they've turned it in that day, it's graded. And then I have patience with you. I've said it again and again. If you are having issues, please reach out and we will help you as best as we can. We've got this. We'll make it. It is hard, but we'll get through it. We always do. Have a great day and don't hesitate to reach out.